Bookings for many were slashed by at least half since mid-May.
It's not a question of magnitude of efficiency or how you can tweak things, where you have 40%, 60%, 80% of your top line disappearing. There's just no way you can sustain some of the cost components that are quite big, mainly manpower, rental, operations. So these measures would really go towards the costs that businesses have to incur and sustaining jobs during this period of time.
Mr. Wee says the support package also gives SMEs more certainty amid the choppy situation. Meanwhile, tenants are getting help from mall operators as well. For instance, CapitaLand is offering rental rebates and help for its tenants to go digital, while Fraser Properties is giving support to get firms to set up shop on its online retail platform.
Gyms and performing arts groups say the package will help them keep paying staff salaries even when they have almost no business. They are among the hard-hit sectors that will get between 30 and 50% wage support. But as Isabel Lim finds out, many aren't too sure if the going will be less tough in June when tougher restrictions expire.
There used to be more people working up a sweat at this gym, but its owner says business has fallen by up to 85% since the pandemic began. With the latest restrictions, new wage support measures are a welcome relief.
We were operating under the assumption that we were getting a one-off grant from Sports Singapore. So this is a big step in the right direction, and you know it takes some of the pain away for sure.
For another gym owner, the measures are much better than circuit breaker relief last year.
Last year, the fitness industry was actually relegated. We were at tier 3, so we were only getting 25% job JSS compared to 50% that retail shops and F&B businesses were getting. This time, we're up to 50%, and it's certainly an improvement.
The group has close to 200 staff that will benefit from the scheme. A third of their 12 branches have been shuttered to save on operating costs this time. But it says business is unlikely to pick up quickly when restrictions are lifted.
People are staying from home now, you know, and in our industry, it was kind of put out there for a while that we were a high-risk area. So I think there's going to be some consumer confidence issues.
And even more so for arts groups that survive mainly on live performances. At least one says the package will keep jobs and make sure salaries are paid.
We are in the business of producing live theater. We're in the business of getting people into a room and in shared experiences and lots of people together. So it's been challenging. I think for some of the smaller art groups, it might be challenging, but at least if you know when you're getting what, it's easier to plan around it.
The job support scheme will fund up to 50% of wages for staff. It will be dispersed in September this year.
Cleaning companies are ensuring better protection for workers, especially those deployed to higher risk areas or places with larger crowds. And it follows the emergence of a COVID-19 cluster that includes 6 cleaners from the same company. One company says that it provides workers with better quality masks, gloves, and encourages them to wear full PPE even when it's not necessary. It is also taking extra measures by deploying vaccinated cleaners to higher risk areas whenever possible.
We will avoid sending those that are non-vaccinated. But those who are vaccinated, we will actually send them without a choice. Because right now it's really, really in demand in this industry, and our manpower is really crunched.
Cleaning companies are also ensuring workers operate at one location to reduce their exposure. This adds to the manpower strain. Another cleaning company says that while it's necessary to ensure staff are well equipped physically, mental support is important too.
For mental support, normally our ops team will normally do some phone calls for them, because normally all these cleaners are mainly in the 50 to 60 age range. This age group mainly require a lot more support. Especially, they are very concerned, especially regarding these current cases.
Meanwhile, Hongye Group, where all the cleaners in the COVID-19 cluster came from, says that it will continue to enforce safety measures. These include having supervisors on site to make sure that ground staff are following safety protocols.
Singapore has reported 15 new COVID-19 cases in the community. 4 of them are unlinked. Of the 11 linked cases, 8 have already been quarantined. There are also 15 imported cases. Of these, 8 are returning Singaporeans or Singapore permanent residents. All were placed on stay-home notice on arrival. The 30 new cases today takes the national tally to 61,970.
Still to come, some respite for F&B businesses, especially those sited in privately owned commercial properties. And a French Navy ship arrives in Changi Naval Base after drills with Singapore forces in the South China Sea.
For exquisite living on the fringe of the city, Singapore Property Show presents coveted developments in the rest of Central Region. Exclusive addresses with amenities well within reach, yet away from the hustle and bustle of the city centre. Experience stunning 4D virtual tours of these properties and get expert advice on property investments at our webinars. It's all happening at sps2021.99.co. Register now. The Singapore Property Show 2021 is proudly organised by MediaCorp and our esteemed partners.
Every day, the financial world goes through dramatic rise and falls. We'll track the biggest market movers and show you where the opportunities lie. Get the experts' take on the performance of key indices. Plus all the analysis to help you understand forces driving global economies. The daily business news you need, only on CNA. This segment is brought to you by Xeon Corporation.
So little land with so many mouths to feed.
Land matters. The future is going to be really challenging.
Dan akhirnya dibuang seperti ini dengan mubazir sangat disayangkan sekali. Ini adalah solusinya.
We can turn Singapore into a protein powerhouse overnight, but people don't understand what we're doing.
Women farmers are the solution for the food security problem.
Race to Feed the World, Monday on CNA.
In 1977, we took air travel to a whole new level when it comes to exclusivity.
4 Singaporeans go back in time to search for more answers from Singapore's past.
What was the experience on the Concorde like?
The pilots can actually see the curvature of the Earth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
From tracking down a legendary white crocodile.
We have here the only mention of white crocodile, Buaya Putih, in the Straits of Singapore.
There's this element of, what's the truth there?
To uncovering what used to lie under an iconic building.
This green building here is very curious.
What we're looking at is the full extent of Kampung Glam, actually.
What else lies forgotten in the vault of time?
In the early days, you could just walk into a shop and buy a gun.
Wait, so back then, people could keep guns at home?
Oh, we had guns at home. My father was a gun owner.
Wow.
Watch Into the Vault 3 on demand at cna.asia.
There's still apprehension on how the one country, two systems political system will continue to evolve. But it's the resilience of the people, holding on to their culture proudly, and strong institutions all help to make Hong Kong what it is today, and the hope of a better tomorrow. Roland Lim, CNA, Hong Kong.
This segment is brought to you by Xeon Corporation.
In business tonight, F&B outlets, especially those in privately owned commercial properties, welcome the support for companies and workers hit by tighter COVID-19 restrictions. They also say it's a relief that no further tightening of measures are expected. Tan Si-hui with this week's SG Pulse.
Shutters down, chairs stacked, and tables set aside. This restaurant that offers Taiwanese food and bubble tea at McCallum Street will be shut until dine-in is allowed to resume.
So this is actually our kitchen area. You can see it's quite empty now because we have shifted most of our equipment over to the new temporary kitchen.
A stark contrast compared to December 2019, when the restaurant opened with much fanfare. The latest restrictions are a further setback after last year's circuit breaker, and having to pay a 5-digit rental fee, it's a struggle.
The business actually